swing.
And there's the last side. Enchantress planet. I don't think I've seen his hero or set his name in about 10 minutes.
10 seconds to go.
Very dead indeed. Amulus Relic found by PNC as well. I want to see that picked up. But
Dire's ban.
Also, as part of the skill builders, we're seeing so many of these Timbersaws outright skip Whirling Death, put more points into reactive. Team fight from the offlane as well. They need something to anchor their fight. Right now, it's just a bunch of squishy heroes sort of running around. Spectre's tanky, but you don't want a full front line with your carry.
I guess the main concern is when Virtus Pro, they have this Timbersaw timing that will come, as they don't have that innate counter. DP with levels will go to tower. How does T1 stop this early tower aggression? Like, the game so far has been a product of both teams expertly defending most of their towers. So at 20 minutes, it's that kind of crucial rush out team fight. Right now, Virtus Pro, they're going to be able to knock down 2-3 towers, 4 on a 20-minute mark. It's going to be a completely different story. So yeah, like you were saying, T1, they kind of need to have that, at least some type of tower defender. Otherwise, they're going to be giving up a lot of map control.
That's why I'm a fan of this Death Prophet pick from VP.
Yeah,
it discourages like these Tide Hunters or these axes that may just want to sit in front of a creep wave. Percentage base from Spirit Siphon's going to discourage that.
So they're banning all flaners on VP, so they think it's Carl Leshak, which is probably correct, honestly. I forgot, when you were talking about that, T, I forgot, most teams like to have that magical damage mid that can rotate, take care of this Timbersaw. That would make a lot of sense to me. I'm curious to see what they'll do, though. They get to see everything.
10 seconds to go.
Have the overall last pick.
Is Lifestealer is available? That could be an option, just to
5 seconds.
Play out laning phase. You don't really care too much. You can eat the catapult when Leshak tries to pressure a tower at like 5. And then in terms of the game, you don't really care too much about what T1's bringing.
Yeah, and that Luna. Oh, never mind. First phase banned out. Faceless Void is still on the pool.
I'd be down. Is Juggernaut banned? Oh, they banned out the Juggernaut. Okay.
Yeah. I guess the issue with like a Lifestealer is it just presents like a very easy Razor pick, whereas like offlane Razor and with Nyx.
Faceless Void.
All right.
They have a fair amount of damage into the Chronosphere. Chakram, Exorcism, Finger.
Yeah, they do for sure. I'm a bit concerned about their lane. If they put either Lion or Winter Wyvern with Faceless Void, I feel like that's a free lane for Leshak.
Yep.
Or
10 seconds to go.
I used to play a lot of offlane Leshak in EU pubs, and like Faceless Void was one of my favorite
5
matchups.
seconds.
Even if he gets Chronosphere, sometimes you can get your ulti and Edict off, and he can't hit you because you do too much damage.
And Virtus Pro, when they last played this Void, he was completely removed from laning phase. He had to go Mask of Madness, like a 18-minute Midas after that. Like it was, yeah, VP was full mode recovery, but then they just turned up the aggression and was able to turn it around.
Lo and behold, it is indeed offlane Leshak, mid lane Carl Puck.
Yeah, they respond with the Puck simply because it can equally push out lanes to the start of, and the Void, it can instantly lock you down early on. Like Void doesn't really like this matchup until he has like 3-4 items plus. Before then, every core will be a kill.
It's such a weird, how to say, like a circular meta. I think in the Singapore major, we would see Puck really early picked, and people would always pick Lion versus it, right? Now, T1 are feeling confident in their Puck because like just the state of the game or state of how the game is played, that they're fine picking it against Lion. And yeah, I mean, it looks sort of hard to frontline for them right now.
This is the type of game where I feel like T1, they're going to be down by like 6 or 7k, and then they're going to have that big turnaround team fight where they layer everything beautifully. And
Is it going to be around Roshan like they always are?
it's going to be in the open air, in the jungle or something. But no, this is... I just like how the teams are developing each game with a whole new take on how they want to approach that. T1, they're doubling down on just kind of playing patiently, waiting for the game to be theirs, and then to take the fight. Whilst VP, they're trying to keep applying new forms of aggression to get in T1's face.
All right, well, we have approached a haunt with our casters. They have agreed to amicably alternate back and forth. So let's send it gracefully to our casters, Suns and Jenkins.
Thank you, Tsunami. Suns fan here with Jenkins. You put it very eloquently, but of course the truth is Twitch chat thought that you guys were major cringe, so we just
Everybody gets set.
cut the bit, and we're just going back to normal.
We're fighting to not cast this.
Interesting.
And now I have to do it. And I'm
So you're
sorry.
saying you lost the original duel. I see.
I did. He knocked it out of my hands. Everybody's like, oh, Jenkins won.
I see. Well, that's great to hear that a lot of people want to cast with me. I wish Cinderin was here. Jenkins, what are your thoughts on these drafts?
Timing's on both. This VP lineup, I think when they get to the mid game, they have a lot of damage to pump into the Chronosphere. Between the Finger, Wyvern spells, Death Prophet, of course, that's a classic combo. T1, they have the strong high ground defense of Leshrac.
I'll take that.
Plus the Nyx Assassin. Spectre eventually will be really great at killing the backline. Once again, this is not one of those drafts where
30
one
seconds to
seems
showtime.
significantly better than the other.
Yeah, finally get to see Winter Wyvern get played. Really lacking on that hero for sure this tournament.
I think that would be a great pickup for Wyvern in this game.
Yeah, that's kind of a crazy concept, and I mean, maybe if you had like this talent that would amplify all that, but that probably doesn't have that.
That'd be quite a bit too OP, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But the cool thing about it is because of the way that the draft ended up working out, we get to see a Nyx and a Lesh
And they're
who've kind
off.
of been these, I want to say, basically on the same level as Wyvern for both the major and this tournament.
I agree. This Nyx Lesh might be a stronger... It might be stronger. It's hard to say because they get left out of certain drafts for whatever reason. The pick order matters, and that's likely why sometimes it gets left out. When you pick two heroes sequentially, then Nyx Lesh seems a lot better.
Yeah.
And so that's probably... But if you have that situation, then I do really believe that they're just as good as the Wyvern.
But then again, you do give up Timbersaw as well, who's also feeling like this hero in the right game. Pretty unstoppable. Do you think this is a good game for DM on the Timber?
There's answers. Leshrac running at Timber in lane. This is a hero that as soon as you hit level 6 on Lesh, you can run at a Timber, and so long as he's not like 2 or 3 levels ahead, it's fairly easy to lane up against him. So even if the Spectre's lane goes kind of poorly, there will be an answer eventually. That's why a lot of the time when Timber gets picked, Batrider and Lesh both get banned out in that second phase.
I'm just really happy from at least T1's perspective that we get to see Zephyr on more of the comfort hero, which is the Nyx, and I don't think anybody has played this hero better than this guy in the past couple tournaments.
Once again, he makes it look like Impale is a targeted stun like Burrow Strike. He's just hitting every single double Impale.
I mean, I know people that don't hit Burrow Strike still, so.
That's true. I also play with Pop-Tart.
Because I am. Ha!
The save, man, the inside jokes that nobody else gets just really get to me sometimes.
200 people in chat, Mac.
Yeah, very true. Nightfall will be playing the Void Spirit, the Faceless Void this game. What are your thoughts on the Chrono potential? You got Chrono with the Chakra. It's not like the most typical Wombo combo style that we're seeing with Faceless Voids these days. I think it's good enough as...
Yeah, it's good enough.
Yep, save. You can set up the Earth Spike with the Timber Chain to follow from DM. Whitemon on the Hoodwink, which is another hero we have yet to talk about. But yeah, let's talk about the Chrono potential. This young man right here who's going to get pressured a bit, but of course Time Walk will mitigate all of it.
Pretty solid against the Nyx Lesh lane. Just given exactly what we just saw. You have these stuns that you can layer on top of each other, and Void will quite easily dodge that damage. But in the Chronosphere, there's good damage. Even just the Death Prophet alone is often enough. If you can stand remotely close to somebody on Death Prophet, the ulti damage is significantly more. I think it legitimately more than doubles.
I think the cool thing about playing with Death Prophet is you don't have to leave her out of Chrono. It's not the worst case scenario.
Yeah, you can Chrono her.
If Exorcism is up, you just Chrono her if people are surrounding her.
Same
right?
concept as this Cold Embrace on the Death Prophet plus Leshrac as well as another combo that we saw.
Yeah.
You encase them and they continue doing damage, which is so annoying.
Yeah, very true. Okay. Well, it's going to be the Spectre versus Void into the late game if we get to that point, which again, last game, I thought it would go a little bit more even, but VP were able to kind of take off once that first Roche was taken. And not sure what we're going to see from T1 this side in terms of like the Roche potential, but like who do you think has that advantage around the pit area?
Definitely VP. They've got Death Prophet to take Roche and Faceless Void to make
No breaking
Roche
through
really
the
difficult
dire
for
structures
T1.
for now.
T1 has the advantage of having extremely strong pick-off potential and plenty of damage with the Leshrac. You can coil somebody next to the Lesh and he's going to get a kill. You can mix Assassin stun somebody next to the Lesh and he's going to get a kill. And then you have the Haunt coming in afterwards and a Sharpshooter from far away. So lots of damage and they don't really need to be that close to each other.
Yeah, that's true. In terms of the mid matchup, GPK on the Death Prophet is at 18-9 versus Carl's 17-4. So pretty much a wash right now. Is that what you would expect at this stage of the game between these two heroes?
There's a little bit of an advantage from Death Prophet because you just don't have to buy regen.
Oh, time dilation. Yeah, that's a really annoying one to deal with. Zephyr does use his Fairy Fire, but...
very nice.
Had to happen.
Looking for a high five from Nightfall. No, other way around, actually. I really hate it when the high fives are not reciprocated. It's 23 Savage getting pressured by DM. Very close to death here, but Whitemon with the health south. Keeping his carry healthy, but in the meantime, yeah, that is... DM is getting really tanky. Only 2 levels of reactive armor, so not even level 5 yet. Just can't do much about him yet, at this point at least. See the...
so close.
Yeah, that is 6 HP.
The Radiant's courier
Classic.
didn't
Calculated
make it.
from 23 Savage, of course, as we can see the Earth Spike missed here from Save.
I heard the panel talking about how DM, the only hero that he might be more impressive on than Kunkka is Timbersaw. Okay. And I can see why. This is like an ISO set.
Yeah, this is going to be a kill. Easy peasy. Timber chain.
The best Timbers are these ones that pressure before they're level 6. They understand they can tank the creeps, and so they basically build up this creep army behind the tower, where the carry has to either tank that. They have to decide basically, do I want to take that amount of damage? And of course, as a carry, you kind of have to, because you don't slot it.
Indeed, and I mean DM 26-5 right now, so he is having himself a very good time.
Juicy boy, this.
Yeah, Cuckoo on the other side. I mean, 25-7.
You might wish to
so
retract your last
It's
move.
really the carries that are kind of falling. I mean, they're not that far behind, but I guess you can call it a wash between the two in terms of Faceless Void and Spectre, but they're not having a free farm game for sure this time around.
Spectre's supposed to have a tougher lane, and Void is in this scenario, and it's kind of reflected. It's a very small difference.
Okay, looking for that 6-minute rune, and it will be the invisibility. And at what point are you looking for Death Prophet to kind of get out of this lane and gang? It's not, I don't know, it feels like this hero that's just slow sieges with the exorcism early. Or did he just stay mid and try to pressure that tower, knowing that puck has to go gank at some point? 23 Savage. Yeah, we'll take some damage from DM with the Earth Spike fall, but it looks like it'll be fun.
There's a couple of ways that you can think about Death Prophet's gameplay right now. Possibly you think that Death Prophet runs at the Timber's lane, which looks like that is going to happen. The tower will just instantly fall because Timber can tank the tower and Death Prophet does enough damage to take the tower. Or maybe that's such an easy play that you just focus on mid because you know eventually you can just rotate to the Timber and get a free tower. So why not take the tower that's harder to take later, but easy to take now, which is the mid tower. And it looks like that is what he's trying to do. He's pressuring mid.
I think not.
So from Carl's perspective, we'll see what his reaction is going to be to this, because it's going to be a very long cooldown on Exorcism once it is actually popped. But he is EPK that is transitioning towards the bot as we see Save get the Earth Spike onto Whitemon. Again, Hoodwink, we've talked about him before. Does this feel like a Hoodwink game to you?
I don't know what is a Hoodwink game.
You should. We covered NADPC. We know.
My thoughts on this hero is just that it's a generic stunning position 5, position 4. Maybe as a 4, the game needs to be better for it, but I see it similar to like a Crystal Maiden or a Lich when those heroes were strong, where you just never really felt bad having them on your team.
Yeah. I mean, GPK made quite the walk over the bot lane. 22 Savage getting pressured. Yeah, not enough to actually burst him down to the end, but GBK's kind of going back and forth between bot and mid, and has given up a little bit of farm and XP as a result, but still a little bit ahead of Carl right now in that mid lane. And you can see Spectre again, 23 Savage. Yeah, they've spent a lot on consumables this game for sure, which is the main reason that VP is sitting on a 2K net worth lead at 8 minutes. That's actually a little more significant than I thought it would be.
Mid towers
they're
getting
taking a huge
banged
lead
up.
here, so I suppose there's nothing that GPK really needs to do. As he does head back down bottom, I think this is a fairly free power
with the whirling death. You see the exorcism from GPK. If they can get 23 Savage. Oh, the Timber Chain's not going to connect on a tree despite being an entire forest. Off the right click and whirling death are more than enough. Whitemon.
Right now.
I mean, GPK wasn't even needed here, it feels like. But regardless, he's going to get XP for two of these kills.
Radiant's bottom tower seen better days. Radiant structures must have been fortified.
Away when it looked like he wasn't going to get any kills, is that this is such a guaranteed rotation.
Radiant's bottom tower.
So well that if he's going to expend a Death Prophet ulti, he wants to get at least kill.
Dire structures looking fortified.
It's pretty interesting. And
Radiant's bottom tower ain't a pretty sight right now.
T1,
the Dire might want to mine the top
like
tower.
double Midas and just trying to whatever advantage
there goes
they can
Radiant's
from
bottom
every single
tower.
spell that they have on the map. So it does make sense
Dire's
in terms
top
of just
tower's getting beat
optimizing
down.
for gold. Is you get kills, it's more gold.
And Nightfall working on a Maelstrom as his first main item on the Faceless Void.
Dire's top tower.
The counterpart for 24 Savage.
Dire's
looks
top
like it
tower
will be the
gone.
Blade Mail to help him farm in the jungle, so no big surprise there. And he already picked up the Possessed Mask, actually, which is not too shabby. Although I think he prefers the action here. Whitemon still only level 3, by the way. Just hits 4 there with that ward, but save, getting the mana drain off DM. Not quite in range for the whirling death, but the chocolate is going to be there with the Crypt Swarm as well. So feels like VP are getting pretty much whatever they want with this 5-0 advantage right now.
Yeah, there's not anything that can kill DM, and the problem with Cuckoo, if he rotates towards DM, if he dies doing that once, then all of a sudden he's not tanky enough to do that a second time. And so he goes straight for the Hood of Defiance just to ensure that he is tanky, and I think probably that's why he's not rotating towards DM, is because he needs the boots first before he can realistically run at the lane.
See the replay here. The ward kill.
I
Level 4 feels so good, but then he dies. So maybe not so much. Zephyr still level 5 on the Nyx Assassin. We're at 10.5 minutes now. So let's see if these tomes come out. If they haven't already. 23 Savage playing a very, very close.
Greedy boy.
Yes, indeed. Still does not. Oh, he did get up the chip vest. Okay, that's the dream item for sure. On top of the Blade Mail to come for him. But still kind of playing the catch-up game. Does have Haunt, so if he finds an opportunity to find a quick kill and then back to farming, he'll do so. Otherwise, just full-on farming for him.
It's a great Blade Mail game against Death Prophet and Timber. Damage that it's extremely hard for these heroes to control who it goes on, and so you can just haunt in, reflect all of that damage. I like that also 23 Savage went for a Sage's Mask casually, eventually building into the Echo. Spectre really needs that mana.
Yeah, we talked about it before, the fact that Blade Mail doesn't have that int, the Robe of the Magi anymore as part of
Radiant's
that build.
gone and fortified their structures.
As DM. Maybe tanking this up, gets the Vendetta from Zephyr side. Splitter's not going to do that because of the curse. Beautiful timing from Kingslayer again. As that is going to be the death of Zephyr as a result. The coil basically Nightfall looks pretty fine overall. Takes the bushwhack and just time walks into the tier 1. Just like that, VP with a tier 1 tower again and 2 kills. 7-0. This is starting to look a little yikes from T1. Jenkins.
Man, the matchup between Timber and Leshrac is whoever starts getting kills on the other one, it feels like the other just
do
feeds.
something
And
about
so
that bottom tower.
was about to be Cuckoo killing DM and stopping this reign of terror from the Timbersaw. But just a beautiful Winter's Curse, as we've seen so many times throughout this tournament and the Animajor. It is the biggest buzzkill ability in the entirety of Dota.
We've also seen it in our nightmares.
This is true.
This hero's picked literally every game. Oh, Hex. Spike to fall. GPK. Into the silence. Very good layering. Into the finger. VP have come to play in this game 3.
This is turning out to be a shellacking. I hate to say it.
It's still, I mean, it is still kind of early, but yeah, it has the potential to expand for sure.
8-0 map advantage from taking the bot tower and the mid tower. If you're T1, you have to make a play soon. I think probably with the Puck plus Leshrac You need the damage from Lesh, and the best longest range lockdown you have is the puck. Nyx is not going to be enough at this point. He is very behind.
Yeah. That is definitely true. So Nightfall, literally like 2 gold away from finishing the Maelstrom here, so that's going to help amplify his farm overall. I would assume a BKB afterwards.
Radiant's mid tower's coming apart.
He's not worried about this game. He can go at his own pace.
He doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's been involved, but we haven't really seen any. Has he cast Chrono this game?
Chrono once. He hasn't had to.
Yeah.
They got the tower.
He baited the coil earlier on. And other than that, he's been farming, which is exactly what you're supposed to do if you don't need it. I mean, the time dilation gives you some presence in lane, which definitely helps, but...
If you're Faceless Void versus a puck, though, you're so happy about farming because, as the panel was talking about, it is a difficult matchup. Instant stun with this puck and more than enough damage and disable to kill the Void.
Yeah. 3K net worth lead for VP is... Looks like they want to take over the jungle again here, even though they already have this tier 1 tower. And they see Carl in the vicinity, but they also see a Wyvern. So, oh, that was T1 actually picking it up. Okay, that's the first kill for T1. That's exactly what you need. And Zephyr, again, like we talked about this guy in the Nyx Assassin, he is building towards Ags. If you, and I think it was Tiga that was saying that he's expecting T1 to get off to a slow start, and then the high ground defense is where they really shine. And this is the big reason why. The Ags on Nyx.
I'm pretty sure you never want to play to defend high ground like that, but it's more so that you have the capability. Obviously, they tried to win the lanes. They've tried to make moves, but that is always a concern if you're playing against Nyx plus Leshrac is how do we take high ground?
Dire's mid tower could use a little help.
Has an answer. Death Prophet
Them
is a
Dire
very
buildings are
long-range
tough as nails for
siege
now.
hero. But whenever you're standing closer to the tower, it does significantly more damage, so it is quite slow if you stand far away with DP and siege the tower like that.
Yeah, that's true. And I think from T1's perspective, it also helps that Nyx, this is the item you build anyway, so it's not like he's changing his build because
tower's seen better days.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't have to actually adapt because we've seen literally the same build every game.
Yeah.
On every Nyx assassin that actually gets through.
Every team fight seems to be control an area. You play near some high ground with a ward, and your cores are kind of in and out, but the supports will sit in the back and just use spells from afar. And Nyx Assassin Ags is just about the best thing at doing this. And the Nyx gets gone on. Lord, he is not easy to kill with that 50% damage reduction. Raw damage reduction is
mid-tower's getting banged up.
Centaur spam. That's right. Always recommend. I mean, there's not that many damage reductions, like percentage-wise, right?
No.
Only a few in the game, so anytime you can get your... I was actually surprised when they buffed the Nyx Ags because I thought it was already good. Yep. As Carl's gonna have to use his coil to try to get away here. Doesn't really have anybody nearby other than the hoodwink. Yeah, that's, I mean, it's not the longest cooldown. It has been nerfed in the past couple patches, so it like has 20 seconds extra, I feel like, than it used to, but not that big of a deal.
The coil, yeah.
Dire's bottom tower's getting the business.
And that was always too little.
Yeah.
For such a good ability.
Waimon, Bushwhack not going to connect, save, keeping his distance wisely, but the Diabolic need to continue to work up to see the first chronosphere of the game. GPK gets the silence and the exorcism on top. You can see the Blade Rush does a lot of work, but obviously in a 3v1 situation, you're not going to be able to do anything about that. Meanwhile, we have the TPs again from VP to try to defend this. Oh, Cuckoo destroyed by DM, and now Zephyr on the run with that Vendetta. Looks like he should get out, although the Dust does connect, but he's just too far away at this point.
Dire's mid tower's having
VP
technical
tips
difficulties.
He's doing his classic, I'm kind of behind on the Shrek, so I'm going to go stand in trees. And
that's true. He's been doing that a lot. It's might be a reciprocal kill here. No save, staying alive for now. The sharpshooter just off range, and this might cost the puck his life instead. Carl, the Winter's Curse does connect, and that'll provide Kingslayer with the easy kill. And then the save, but the fact that he stayed alive a little bit longer meant that Carl had to kind of commit.
Carl going down here is a really big deal. I think 23 and Carl dying is very bad for T1 because these are usually the players that whenever they're behind, they'll do some like epic thing and everybody will come back off the back of them. Off the back of one of them being incredibly farmed and having a good game. And it's not it's not often you see both of them having a tough time.
Yeah, especially not in, I mean, both tournaments, really. The Anna Major and this ESL 1 summer event.
Yeah. The question is,
A moment of
what do they do
silence for
when
the Dire's courier.
Bushwhack into the Impale with the Hawk and Sharpshooter. 23 Savage gets credit for that one. And he has the Echo Saber Blade Mail combo. We'll be going for Manta next. And also a double damage to boot. So this provides potentially an opportunity for T1 to continue to farm on Spectre. Which is exactly what they need.
These are really crucial picks. It's getting them back into the game.
Oh yeah, we do see, thank you to the observers here, we'll talk about that in just a moment as we see the impact move here, the Sharpshooter, which was being wound up from the beginning off the original Bushwhack. But speaking of Hoodwink as a hero, we did see this the other day, but having this Ironwood tree allows you to cast Bushwhack first and then place the tree. Pretty cool combo. It's essentially like an instant, it feels like an instant disable in some cases.
It's nice too because the Acorn Shot provides vision. So whenever you use the Bushwhack, they're going to run away from you because they're dying. And if they run into trees, you can use the Acorn Shot to vision the people that you're chasing. So it does feel like a really nice combo. The most important thing about that last pickoff that we saw is that 23
Radiant's
got the kill.
mid-tower
Spectre is
could use a
not a hero
hand.
that farms particularly fast. As you can see, they're smoking directly towards him, but
Yeah, they're gonna find Whitemon, but he just scurries away. There's the Blink Hex from Save, and that's gonna give
The Dire might want
another
to
kill
mine
from the
that
left.
top
So
tower.
Cuckoo kind of doing his thing like we've talked about, creating as much space as he can. Actually does expend the Finger of Death. but
horns.
They'll
You'll
take
not
it.
live to see the
As long as, I mean, from T1's perspective, as long as Spectre doesn't
Top tower is
see
gonna beat down.
GPK with the Exorcism, this will be the first Roche of the game. Don't think T1 can really do anything about this.
no plot. The most that they could hope for is a steal, but it's so difficult for a puck to get
Dire's
in there
top
against
tower, you know the
Lion
drill.
plus Death Prophet Silence. It's not gonna happen, so T1, they just decided to
Dire
play.
took down old Roche.
So Faceless Void.
The Dire
Mr.
might
Mindful
want to
himself will
mine
get
that
it.
top
They-
tower.
Like their mid laner in terms of DP, not a good Aegis carrier. I mean, I feel like that's kind of significant. If there was a Lesh mid or a Storm mid, like we've seen these heroes just absolutely take over the game because of the Aegis, and DP's just not one of them. It's like it almost feels like a transformation hero to some degree. Super long cooldown. If you die with that up, it's just a complete waste.
Even Void's a tad not so good, just because when you respawn and maybe you don't have the Chronosphere up, because you saw some good opportunity prior to dying. Question of like, when does the Chronosphere opportunity present itself?
4K network lead here for VP. Zephyr, he is only 1,000 away from Ags.
Radiant's top tower is taking hits.
Yeah, that is true. We didn't really mention that, but that will, especially in a losing game like this, help you get some very important items.
Reliable
Not
goal
really
too.
farming. It's getting chased though, so I might have to save that money in the bank. It's gonna get silenced as you see the Bushwhack not connect here, but the Spirit Siphon is there into the Crypt Swarm as well. Into the bashes. In addition, Zephyr does get off his carapace for now, though. DM on the other side, chasing out Cuckoo, but looks like Carl and Zephyr both die on
Dire's
opposite
bottom
sides
tower
here.
got blown
So
to
VP
bits.
just in firm control of this game right now.
No breaking down the Radiant structure.
Here comes the Timber Chain. This will be a huge kill. Bushwhack again misses. You can see VP kind of doing this in and out game right now. Really well executed. Split is going to be connecting with that Yule Scepter combo.
Radiant's
22
top
Savage does
tower is
not
in
want
bad
this stack
shape.
take. It's not that big of a stack, but he needs his farm, Jenkins.
The Dire best do something about that bottom tower. Radiant's top tower is hurting.
By making it look like they were going to dive into the tier 2.
The Radiant lost the top tower.
See the haunt in? That's not so good.
Oh yeah, the Winter's Curse.
There goes his friend.
I mean, it's like Winter Wyvern is just a really good hero. I don't know, it's weird.
I believe that's a very strange opinion.
I mean, we need to ask. Okay, whoever wins this tournament, winning interview, which you will not be on panel because you're casting.
Yep.
Maybe you can relay this to our panel.
You could do that.
Please ask. Well, I will forget because I'm an old man, but please remember to ask them to ask whoever wins about Winter Wyvern and what they think and why it gets through literally every game, because I actually don't know. I don't understand.
It is interesting. It does seem like the ubiquitously best Dota hero currently. everything else is just an
Dire's
argument
top
against
tower's
Winter
getting
Wyvern,
beat
where it's
down.
like, okay, guys, hear me out.
Trouble at Radiant's bottom
GPK is
tower.
going to pop the Exorcism here, and Nightfall just pounding on the tier 2. This is
Radiant's
probably going to
gone
be given
and
up.
fortified their
The tier 2
structures.
top as well.
No breaking through the
there's other
Dire
heroes like
structures
AA,
for
right? It's a
now.
cool hero
Radiant's
because
bottom
it
tower
provides
ain't
you
pretty
with
set
this
right
option
now.
of, hey, we pick
Dire's
this, which
top
means you can't pick
tower,
XXX,
you know
but
the
at the same
drill.
time,
But this is always the discussion.
Radiant's
It's always
bottom
Winter Wyvern
tower
first,
seen
and
better
hear me
days.
out.
yeah. No, but at the same time, Winter Wyvern, he pushes waves, he has great team fight, he has ridiculously
Trouble brewing
OP
at
heals right
Radiant's
now.
bottom tower.
He just provides everything.
5 different
Dire's
builds that you can
top
go. They're
tower's
all
getting
viable.
beat
down.
Counter it. She just goes a different build.
All right, tier 3 tower is
Radiant's
taking
bottom
really
tower
heavy
ain't pretty set
damage.
right now.
And it looks like
Dire's
VP
top
might actually just
tower,
get this
you know the drill.
uncontested. 0 defense here.
Radiant's bottom
That's
tower
23
is
Savage
done
is going to be
for.
happy with the trade for the tier 2
Get a
for
load of
tier
Radiant's
3.
bottom rags.
I can see the
Dire's
Coleman Rays
lost
coming
the
to
top
play on
tower.
Nightfall. The time walk off, a little baby one there. Of course, still has his Aegis intact. Zephyr showing off that Aghanim Scepter. It's off the Impale. The VP might just back
The
up
Dire
now.
might want to mine their top
There's
tower.
no haunt yet for 23 Savage, so I mean he has it, but just doesn't have mana, so he'll have to TP back to base.
VP just trying to force Carl back there. Obviously, you see
Dire's
23
top
Savage in the
tower,
lane, and
you know the
immediate
drill.
thought is this guy's just gonna haunt in. No big deal. But when you see Carl pushing up that top lane, standing on your ward,
Go!
you know he should be in base.
As
There's no room
foretold.
to travel. There's nothing to show that Carl can be out positioned like that. So they actually get a tower because Carl doesn't want to come back until the tower goes down.
Yeah, that tower being down is, I mean, it's not like they're going up against a Lesh or something that could just quickly take it with a low cooldown thing. You have to commit an Exorcism because that's pretty much their only tower push right now. But VP on the high ground here, going to break the smoke from Cuckoo. Oh, the Bushwhack is going to miss because of the Yules, but the Splitter does come in turn. So they find the kill regardless, and now the coil is going to be pretty big. Chronosphere onto 2. You see the Winter Wyvern buy back into the game. The Impale is going to connect on 2 on top of this. Nightfall still with the Aegis, so he's not scared of anything. Cuckoo rounding up the split earth, does hit onto 2 in turn, and Nightfall has to come back to the tier 2 tower. But DM is going absolute ham. 2 dead for T1. Did cost a buyback from BP, but you can see that T1 is now completely on the run. Time dilation, able to be connected onto Whitemon. He's going to get chased here by the Faceless Void. And you can see here,
That's 4 in a row.
Mr. Zephyr himself. They have vision that Crypt Swarm is enough. So 4 for 1. It looked like a pretty good fight from T1 to start out, but they're just maybe just too far behind at this point.
That was very nice from Nightfall.
Radiant's mid tower's coming
there
apart.
because he knows if he breaks the coil, he's probably fine. You know, his team can save him. He had Aegis, but he breaks.
Radiant's mid tower's getting banged up.
Eon discs of
Radiant's
and
mid
Carl
tower ain't
in that
doing so
fight.
good.
And then afterwards, DM comes through, and he pops both of
Radiant's
them.
mid
The
tower
two
could use a
heroes
hand.
that Nightfall popped the Eon disc of, they killed first. So that was intentional. It wasn't, the Chrono would not kill both of those heroes. It was just to pop their Eon discs because they were so confident that without the Chrono, they could kill them so long as they didn't have those up.
Okay, that's cool. And now we have a Scotty online for Nightfall. So very difficult to kill, to say the least, as he's getting close to that level 20 as well, which we've seen both the Time Walk talent and 40 attack speed one taken. The fact that he doesn't have, I mean, there is going to be a second Roche, so perhaps you want to play into that with the Time Walk talent, but we'll see.
Interesting that Nightfall's not going for a BKB in this scenario. He's just confident that so long as he turns around with the Chronosphere when he gets coiled, he's going to be fine. He has the effective HP and the status resistance.
Spirit Cypher finds the beyond this proc. Time dilation to follow though, and completely surrounded. Earthspecker save. Down goes Cuckoo. Now 5v4 situation as T1 have to
Regeneration.
Cuckoo is an absolute maniac on this track. He just walks up so many high grounds. Somebody's got to do it though.
Yeah. Nightfall gonna take a bounty now, farm the enemy triangle. This is the one downside with VP's lineup, is just the cooldown on Exorcism. They don't have like this secondary push hero, it feels like.
Yeah.
Maybe the Timbersaw getting Shard would help. Is he actually queuing that up at any point? Oh, he literally just did. Okay.
He's thinking the same thing. He's like, oh god, I'm so sick of waiting for this cooldown.
It makes sense. Good damage to the tower with that flamethrower.
And they don't need the exorcism for damage in team fights because Nightfall has enough net worth at this point that just the Faceless Void is going to do a ton of damage. It's literally just about taking the arrows. It's about ending out the game. Timber Shard, that'll help you do that a little.
And Nightfall did go for the 40 attack speed talent. Basically the same win rate between the two. 40 attack speed taken a little bit more often though. That's kind of cool. You don't see that very often where it's similar pick rate, similar win rate as well.
Let's get
Kind of the build too. If you're going for Aghanim Scepter, then the time walk cooldown just gives more damage.
Dire's
And the
bottom
20
tower's getting the
attack speed
business.
is obviously more damage.
All right, we're gonna have a 5-man smoke from Vertus.
Time is money.
We have Ether Lens here on White One. He's actually going for Aghanim Scepter next, which of course we have seen from time to time on these more farm hoodwinks. It's a huge kill for VP.
6 in a row.
This is gonna be a
How about
super
that?
easy one as well. 23 Savage, just wrong place, wrong time. And Roshan, we can see not up for another minute 45.
Checking the kill score quickly.
Yep, it is 420.
I'm out.
I'm sure chat's very happy about that.
That's good stuff right there. All right.
Go ahead.
Back to
Back to you.
Back
To you, Jenk. Yeah, Dakota, shout out to you. Yeah, Nightfall is just super farm right now. It looks like they are kind of waiting for this Roche. Thought they might try to force a buyback potentially here, but just playing it close to the vest. Again, 10k net worth lead, so they're not really in a super rush here.
Yeah, they're confident they can play the map and choke T1 out. Boots of travel on GPK, so that's fairly easy to do. And here's a little bit of that choking out happening.
Yeah, impact move. You can look at the top score line. Oh, we're not going to get that because there is a kill upcoming. Sharpshooter's dead. DM pops the BKB, but it's getting very low.
What happened?
He drops down, so nicely done from T1, but a big, juicy impale coming after all in the corner down to 2. And again, just too much farm for T1 to do this. Okay, Hawk comes in, 23 seconds, pops the blade mail. Is he jumping left, right, and center? Finally, he focuses on Nightfall as he has no more illusions to work with.
He got out?
He got back to base? What?
He didn't bash.
Wow.
The chances.
I didn't even see him TPing, for God's sake. Yeah, that was a lot of right clicks with no bash.
The Dire might want to mine their top tower.
24%?
Why is he a Dota player? He should be at the casino right now. Why?
Maybe it's because he got the double kill. As we see, he actually TP'd right away.
Surprise.
Wow.
3, 4,
Yeah.
5.
Okay.
5 hits in a row. Let me do the math.
But the Maelstrom did proc, so something at least proc for him. You can see the smiles coming out here. Always cool to see the webcams on these players as Jenkins is opening up Google to calculate something apparently. All right, 23 Savage, he sees Roche, he's going for it. This is the Aegis, Cheese, and Shard. They know Chronosphere is down, they know Exorcism is down. This is a really good play from T1, especially if it works out. I mean, it's a good thought regardless.
I did the math. There's a 25% chance that would happen.
That's it? That can't, no, that's not right.
That's right.
5 hits or 2? Or
5 hits.
Okay. Not that big of a deal then, is what you're saying.
No, that's a big deal.
Cuckoo gets the split arc, Blue or the follow, trying to get as much space as possible. The Aegis is not going to be taken. The stun comes out and smashed by
Can't do nothing about Dire structures right now.
That's not even a BKB, that is the shard as 23 Savage has the Spectral Dagger away. Barely gets out with his life. Zephyr stuck inside this freaking ult from Timberside. Just too much damage to deal with. Double kill for Nightfall. And yeah, Save ends up taking the Aegis. So that means T1 got Roche. I'm not sure who got the shard. I see Save has a shard. I'm not sure if that was from the pit.
Save took the shard and he must have given it to somebody else.
We'll have to watch the replay here.
Nightfall has the shard.
This is a big...
Nothing to say.
Look at this Earth Spike. Oh my god.
Here I am.
So the cheese on Cuckoo, for sure.
Cheese is on 23 Savage now.
Well, now, okay, yeah, but he picked it up, I mean.
No, I see it.
All right, I'm going to click on it.
There.
Cheese is there. Okay. So who did get the shard? Because Save does have it, so...
Yeah, the ridiculous
I assume it's him.
about that.
Oh, no, it is on the reverse time on.
Radiant's bottom rags.
Oh, yeah.
You're
It's
playing against
hurt.
a hot. How do you
No
break in?
breaking down the Radiant structures like this.
Two heroes.
Yeah, that's pretty dirty play right there. Zephyr inside the trees, but they see him, and he's going to be brought down. He's such a good hero against Nick's stats, especially when you have the silence from DP on top of it. And it's going to be a full set of racks on the bot.
The Dire might want to
Probably
mine their
go
top
to the mid
tower.
lane now. While this exorcism is still up. All right, Chronosphere onto 2. He's going to focus on the hoodwink.
No idea.
He's on the ledge. That's 2 points. We see the hunt come out. The blade now. Much pressure. Finally gets that Winter Wyvern, but not 23 seconds on the run. No actions needed this time as Nightfall jumps right in, dodges the Whitemon sharpshooter. Impale's going to connect from Zephyr on the sideline, but Whitemon will fall regardless. They have a sentry in the vicinity. Zephyr now on the run. Bash, first hit this time. Karma, full team right. VP, GG's call. This was a bit of a shellacking.
Looks like we lost one.
This was probably just a normal shellacking.
Radiant's mid to
What's the next tier from just regular shellacking?
Next tier is the one pre-game.
Yeah, it's probably monumental.
I think it's monumental shellacking.
So this was a monumental shellacking for VP.
That is a big word to be so low in the shellacking tier list.
We need to rethink the tier list a bit, but you know, no big deal. So yeah, 2-1 advantage for VP. I mean, remember, this is a best of 5, and we expected this to go all 5, and I would not be surprised if that still stays true. What do you think of this performance from this time around from VP?
That was just some god tier stuff from VP. The way they played the map early, they won all the lanes, and they were incredibly greedy.
All right, carry on.